What's up, Schmoedown fans? Another Schmoedown match. This time it's Barbarian versus Alonso Duralde. Haven't got that much time to spare. Anyway, as per usual, so let's just get on with the match. Obviously, I love Alonso Duralde. I love the Den, but I've been a Barbarian fan since last year. He was my favorite rookie coming into last year, and he's still one of my favorite players in this league right now. And I just can't wait to see what him and Elvis will be up to in this singles tournament. Obviously participating myself, but don't expect too many correct questions out of myself. Here we go.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. It's the last match of the 32-person tournament in the first round. The last match in the first round. I'm Christian Harloff, joined, as always, by not Mark Ellis.
I think this is
It's
the first time
one and
these
only
two are
Andrew
together.
Guy. Andrew
What's
Guy.
up, man?
On the desk.
It's so good to be here. Yeah, I mean, you and I have never called a match together, which is why I'm already talking over you. I'm an amateur, but I'm excited to be here at least. And this is a big time match, man. I mean, both of these guys I would never want to catch in an alley of Movie Trivia Showdown madness because they both know so much, even though their records might not reflect that.
What's crazy about this match is that that's exactly right, because the Barbarian came in. It's such a touted rookie, like he was going to blow through the competition. We've seen it so many different times. There's going to be so many of the guys who just know so much, and he's had an okay time so far in the Schmoedown. He has a great knowledge, but he hasn't hit that stride yet, right? And then you look over, well, he's playing a guy who's 0-1. Yeah, but he's playing Alonso Duralde, who knows more about film than any single person in this stream right now. Maybe Bibiani can rival him, but there's not many people who know more about film than Alonso Duralde. So 0-1, don't let it fool you. He's been close against you to getting to those finals in the teams, and he had it. It looked like it, but actually called a oopsie. And he almost made it to he got far. Alonso has gotten far. We're going to see what happens this time around.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Alonso and Atchity and, of course, Craig here that we were just talking about is these guys know so much movie trivia knowledge, but this is the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. There's a lot of other factors that come into play. The wheel and, of course, Lady Luck herself. She's a huge integral part of the MTS, and sometimes your teammate can get in the way of your victory, which Alonso knows very well. I am grateful for that moment. Alonso, though, is now on his own, and pound for pound, this guy is a very, very intimidating competitor, even though, like you said, Kay, only 0-1, which does not reflect his ability. Neither of these guys have a win in 2021. One of them is going to walk away today with the W. Yeah,
and you say by himself, kind of, because this is the first time that he's got the Den, he's got Kate Mulligan, and he's got a really good manager in the way that she's been working with him. Plus the fact he's got the teams tournament, he's going to be in there with Mark Riley. That team scares me, and more on that later, because Alonso Duralde playing with a competitor that really knows the game inside and out, plus his knowledge, that's scary. But we're not in teams, we're in singles. We have the Barbarian, we have Alonso, and we're going to find out how we got right where we are right now.
Is it still this season?
I am taking Alonso Duralde.
I like this pick a lot. He is a tank of information here.
I've been waiting around for a while to do this thing.
We know what Alonso Duralde knows. We know how much of a brilliant film mind he has. It wasn't his fault that Matt actually challenged his win last year.
I do feel like I'm getting more comfortable with the mechanics of how this thing works. And yeah, I do bring my lifetime of sort of, nerdy accumulation of useless facts, and that's what we're here for.
Oh, did you think we weren't going to be here?
This was a win we really wanted. This was a win that was within our grasp. We're going to hit the books even harder, and once this singles tournament comes, we're going to run through it like a fist runs through a canvas face.
That's the May of the
I still love that
I've had this season. Some attributed it to the big blow-up we had after our match against the Demon. Others think that he got jealous of that glorious mustache
we have put aside our petty differences and any minor squabbles, and we are here for the most glorious time of the year.
Now we're doing the thing. Great. Okay. So, looking forward to it. I'll see you guys there.
So we'd like to put you on notice, Schmoeville, because sun's out, guns out. It's summertime, and the trivia ain't easy.
Nice. Elvis does look good in shades, I'll say that.
Look, they're both having fun, Andrew, as we see it, and they're both the Barbarian and the Finstock exchange. They want to make moves. The Den needs this one. They lost Schloth, they lost Peggy Gubbins, so they need this one.
Yeah, and let's not forget who they have to play against, right? This thing about the 32-person tournament is that round one, you're going to see a lot of well, let's not say uneven, that's not fair. We'll say high seeds versus low seeds, right? Like in any tournament, that's the way that it goes. But as soon as you get through that first round, one of these guys is going to have to play Paulo Oyama. The other person in this bracket is Brendan Meyer, right? Those guys in this bottom left-hand corner are incredibly talented. So getting through the first round is obviously a big deal, but that is only the very beginning of this journey that could lead to a belt.
All right, well, without any further ado, Andrew, you ready?
I'm always ready, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the movie trivia Schmoedown. Introducing first, representing the Den with a record of 0 wins, 1 defeat. He is Mr. Christmas Alonso Duralde. Alonso, listen, man, Kate had been goofing with me beforehand and saying, well, Alonso hasn't played yet. I think that made a lot of people happy because you're a scary competitor. We talked about the Atchity goof. We talked about the upcoming teams. How has been working with the Den and going into this tournament? How are you feeling going up against the Barbarian?
The Den is extraordinary. I mean, you would like a Twitter chat like you would not believe. Like the constant checking in on each other and like, hey, let's run some questions and this is what the wheel and what do you think? And like, I'm not worthy. Like because I have not been able to put in the time that so many of my teammates have, and bless them for it. I really appreciate it. They're a delicious group of people. So yeah, this has been a whole new Schmo year for me.
Duralde, you've been in the league now for 4 years. The first time we ever saw you was back in 2017. I know, not to date you, but don't worry. That was when I came in as well. Now that you are with the team and the league has advanced or evolved as much as it has, does that kind of reignite the fire behind you in wanting to get to the top? I mean, we talked so much about your knowledge. Is this the season where you can finally put it together and maybe take home some gold?
Well, I know this is the part where I'm supposed to be all like, trash talking and braggy, but I have kind of, I on the one hand, yes, sure, of course. Naturally, I would want to do that. On the other hand, am I the bridesmaid of Schmoedown? Yes. So, I don't want to give you a clip that's going to be embarrassing later. So let's just say I always hope for the best, but I have very realistic expectations.
Well, I am the master of embarrassing clips, just to let you know. So.
That's on you.
Last question for you, Alonso. Any words about me, not necessarily smack talk, but in general on the Barbarian going into this match today?
I think you guys were talking before about high seeds, low seeds. I'm sure we're meeting in the middle, and it'll be interesting to see what each of us can bring to the table here.
And his opponent, representing the Finstock Exchange, with a record of 2 wins, 2 defeats, and 1 knockout. This is the Barbarian! There's that music, the Barbarian's music, and there he is, Andrew Guy, the Barbarian.
Sun's out, guns out, and a wall of blood. Exactly what you'd expect from the Barbarian.
And he just throws the camera. That's how the guy is. And I'll tell you,
he
every single time he comes in now, he punches the walls, and I think those walls did something to him. But Barbarian, Look, you and Elvis, you guys are here. You are ready. Mr. Christmas is waiting for you. How are you feeling?
We're feeling hungry. You know, after that loss to The Godfather, we said to ourselves we need to be ready to play any competitor,
An annoying
living or
match.
dead, real or fictional.
I think he
So
should have
ready
won
to play
that.
against Santa Claus
the
today,
Barbarian,
and we are
but,
going to
I mean,
dethrone him from that mighty
That's just me.
seat he holds in the hearts of children.
Barbarian, I got to ask you, man. Lately, the MTS, the gods of the MTS, haven't been too kind to you. But when you look at the people that have taken you down, they're all ex-champions or current champions. Does that mean that this is time for you to get on top here in the singles division? You have exponentially more experience than your opponent today as well.
You know, I came into this league declaring that I was going to get all the belts, and that's still what I'm going to do. This season, the only belt that's within my grasp is that singles title, and that's what I'm going to do. We've got Alonso, Santa Claus across from me, and he's nothing more than a lump of coal in my way.
All right, listen, last thing I have to ask you, because, and I had forgot also, but Jado Paramo also had been eliminated. So Alonso Duralde is the last man standing with the Den. What would it mean to you to take out the Den and get yet another win here for the exchange?
I mean, it's going to mean the season for me. This is going to be the end of the Den and the beginning of the Barbarian.
All right, Andrew, our competitors have arrived. Alonso Duralde, the Barbarian, round number one, last match in round number one about to begin. What are the rules of round number one?
And here are the rules for round number one. Gentlemen, 8 questions from random categories given to both of you, obviously from all over the movie trivia universe. You guys have 15 seconds to write down your answer. Please make it as legible as possible. The answers must be said aloud, and if you could show the camera as well as speaking your answer, that would be much appreciated. All of these questions are worth 1 point. And if you get all 8 of your questions correct, you are offered a perfect round bonus question that will be fielded to whoever goes perfect. Might just be yourself. You will have to not write it down if you are on your own there. Competitors may request a question to be repeated 3 times throughout the match. That is, of course, the JTE rule, and you all have 1 challenge. That's right, 1 challenge, and if it is reversed, you get to keep your challenge. If you do not get that challenge to be successful, then that'll be it for the entire match. And of course, there is no stealing in round number one.
All right, so after the rules of round number one, we start with the Barbarian. Are you ready?
Elvis and I are always ready to rock.
Alonso, are you ready?
Fun Fur in September is a bold look.
Then let's get ready to Schmoedown. Round number one. Question number one. Here we go. Gentlemen, the first question, biopics. Which actor stars as Edward Snowden in the 2016 Oliver Stone film, Snowden?
I think I saw that one, but I don't remember the name
Andrew, I
of
got to
the
say,
guy.
the Barbarian coming out as a little bit of a wordsmith today.
Good, because I seem to be fumbling over my words so he can pick up the slack for me.
And 5,
Nah, I'm not gonna.
4, 3.
You don't
Looks
got it.
angry
You
as
just
well.
don't got it.
Always does. 1. Pens down, and we start with the Barbarian.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes, Alonso.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Didn't I?
Got it. All right. So
All right.
1-1, and now question 2, Andrew.
On to question number 2 from remakes and reboots. Joel Kinnaman and Gary Oldman star in what 2014 remake of an 80s sci-fi action film?
You know, that Joel Kinnaman, just saw him in the Suicide Squad. Loved that movie.
I saw that. I still haven't watched it yet. I feel like I'm way
It was
behind
a
the
good
curve on
movie.
this one.
5,
Not a movie I can
4,
watch over
3,
again, but it's a good
2,
movie.
1. Pens down. Hands up, please, Alonso.
Is it Total Recall?
It is not. Barbarian.
Elvis and I would be banned from Detroit if we missed this one. It's RoboCop.
It is RoboCop. That is correct. 2-1.
Okay.
Barbarian goes up, and now we get to question 3. We're going to 90s movies. Which
Just thinking
actor
how long ago that was.
appeared in the 90s action films Tombstone, Navy SEALs, and Trespass?
If I could say
Yeah, you
I'll
can.
be your Huckleberry once in my life and it
I think I
actually
should just put
makes
the
sense,
board
I feel like it'd be a good
there
life
for a
lived.
minute.
How you didn't say that in your career as a competitor is beyond me. 5, 4,
There's still a chance.
2. We'll talk about that. 1. Pens down. Hands up, please. And we start with the Barbarian.
The faction favorite for the Finstock Exchange, Bill Paxton.
Yes. And Alonzo.
Kurt Russell.
All right, so Barbarian goes up by 2 here. It's 3-1. Barbarian over Alonso Duralde as we get to question 4.
Question at number 4, coming from the category of rom-coms. What famous 1989 rom-com has the line, "It is so nice when you can sit with someone and not have to talk"?
That is the epitome of Barbarian and Elvis's relationship.
I was going to say, I feel like I would not want to try that sentence out in my relationship.
No.
But it's an important thing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, hands up, and we start with Alonzo.
I'll have what she's having when Harry met Sally.
Yes, sir. And Barbarian.
That one,
This is Elvis's favorite.
I actually-
When Harry Met Sally.
Looks like Elvis has
think I
forgiven you
knew
because
it
you're watching movies
and
again. It
didn't
is
write it down
4-2,
anyway.
4-2, and we get to
that one's on me.
question
I
5.
knew it.
Horror/thriller is our
I
next
wasn't
category.
confident enough to write it.
Which horror legend directed the films Shocker, Deadly Blessing, and Cursed?
I might have to not
No,
get any
I saw
points at all this
Candyman
match.
recently.
Yeah.
It's one of the first horror movies I've seen in a theater in a long time, and I have to say,
Scared?
I yelled once, and I had a wonderful time.
Look at you. 5,
Yeah.
4. Very proud of you. 3.
Thank you. I'm growing up.
Good. Pens down. Hands up, please. And this time we're going to start with the Barbarian.
The answer is Wes Craven, but a side note is that Mitch Pileggi is a national treasure.
Well, there you go. And Alonzo.
Wes Craven.
All right. So now
Yes,
Alonzo's starting to get
Craven.
his drive going here. It is 5-3. 5-3. And right now we get to question 6.
And that is coming from the category of comedies. Feels good. Feels good. Thank you. Which musician plays the lead role of George Newman in the film UHF?
Not to be confused with Newman.
Hello,
Newman.
Newman.
You know, being a musician, I feel like would be one of the absolute coolest things ever. Like playing in front of a live crowd like that. I mean, it's different
5,
commentating, but
4.
singing like that.
There's no comparison. 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Hands up, please. And we start with Alonzo.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Barbarian.
Speaking of national treasures, Weird Al Yankovic.
All right, so Barbarian at the moment, still perfect. 6-4
He's
is with
not
question
wrong.
7. We're going to go
He's not wrong.
Westerns.
Weird Al
Westerns.
Yankovic is an actual
John Wayne
treasure.
starred in the Westerns, Chisholm, Big Jake, and The Cowboys during which decade?
You know, I know that John Roca might just be outside my house right now waiting, but I don't love a ton of Westerns, Christian.
Well, you're old. You're younger. 5,
That's fair.
4, 3,
Didn't waste any time on that one.
1. Nope. Pens down. Hands up, please. And we start with the Barbarian.
Is it the 1960s?
Was it the 1950s?
It was not Alonso Duralde.
Is it the 1970s?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
so Duralde
so I was right in
and
the middle of
Barbarian
all that.
loses his perfect round, and it's only a 1-point game, just like that. And now we get to question 8.
Yeah, 6-5
I'll look
here.
for the
No
other
perfect
piece.
rounds on the table, but here we go.
After
Question
this
number 8
round.
coming from the category of Oscars. Which actor received Oscar nominations for his performances in the films Dick Tracy, Glengarry Glen Ross, and The Irishman?
So it's how crazy is that, though? Had the Barbarian got a perfect round, he had a possibility of getting 2 or 3 point swing. Now, if they both get this right, it's only a 1-point game going into round 2. 5, 4, 3, 2,
I have no idea.
1. Pens down. Hands up, please. And we start with Alonso.
Is it Alec
Hoo-ha.
Baldwin?
Al Pacino.
We would accept it.
back.
Hoo-ah.
I also said hoo-ha, Al Pacino.
Yes, they
Yeah,
both
it was
get
the
it right,
Irishman that
and it
really
is
threw me off. I didn't know-
7-6. 7-6 going into
Okay.
round
never mind.
number 2. This
That's
is a
the end
crazy
of round
match, as we
one.
thought
I
it
can
would
go
be.
look
Only 1
for,
point separates
the
them. Round number
thing.
2, it's the wheel round. Andrew, what are the rules for the wheel round? Round
There it
number
is. Found
2.
it.
That's right, Christian. Round number 2 is coming your way, and that is, of course, the wheel round. Each competitor can take a spin at that wheel, and if that wheel lands on a category you don't like, you have the opportunity to respin once, unless, of course, it does land on opponent's choice. Then each competitor will get 4 questions from their chosen category. Each question is worth 2 points. You do have the option to check down to multiple choice, in which will give you 4 options. Of course, that question is now only worth 1 point. You still have 15 seconds to answer that question, but your opponents may steal in round number 2. So if you get it incorrect, we will offer the same question to your opponent for a chance at a 1-point steal. Repeats and challenges are still in effect. And of course, we have a full slate. 3 repeats on both sides, Christian, and 1 challenge each. Nothing has been used yet.
All right, so Barbarian, you are in the lead at the moment, 7-6. You have an opportunity to either go first or defer. What say you?
Elvis and I would like to spin first. We enjoy spinning.
Barbarian, how you feeling?
Oh,
I'm feeling great.
Hey,
That was
Taylor.
strong
You
first
should
round.
feel great.
Yeah.
You should feel great. You're killing it. You're doing exactly what we talked about. Got nothing to worry about. You got this. We know we got this.
Yeah. Didn't want to give away that secret with the Bill Paxton answer. Wink.
No,
Wink,
no,
wink.
we've got plenty of secrets in the exchange we don't want to give away.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. And there's
Sword
Sven.
and shriek.
Wrestlers in
Wrestler.
film. 60 seconds to decide if
I
you want
think
to
he
keep
might
it
take
starting
it,
now.
But I don't know.
I have always dreamt of being a wrestler in a film, so I'm very excited for this wheel slice.
Yeah, I think we've talked a lot about this, and you know what you want to do. You don't need me to tell you. You got this. You know what you want.
Perfect. Thank you. Let's keep it.
All right, so the Barbarian chose wrestlers in film. Barbarian, you're going to get 4 questions in said category. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here is your first question. Which wrestler made his acting debut in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, in the role of Super Shredder?
That would be Kevin Nash.
2 points. All right. Here's question 2. Early in the 2000 comedy Ready to Rumble, fictional wrestling champ Jimmy King loses his title to what real-life wrestler?
Sting.
It is incorrect. Alonso, here's the question. Early in the 2000 comedy Ready to Rumble, fictional wrestling champ Jimmy King loses his title to what real-life wrestler?
Is it Tiny Lister?
Diamond Dallas Page is the answer.
Wow.
All right,
Big
so
2 points there, Christian. Big 2 points left on the table.
All right, well, here is the next question. Big Show appears as Captain Insano, the wrestling hero of Adam Sandler's character in what 1990s film?
Captain Insano? I
5.
think it's better to just go
4,
multiple choice if you don't know.
3.
Repeat the question.
Okay.
All right, here it is. First one.
That's also good.
The Big
That
Show
also works.
appears as Captain Insano, the wrestling hero of Adam Sandler's character in what 1990s film?
Let's go multiple choice.
Is it A, Mr. Deeds, B, The Waterboy, C, Big Daddy, D, Airheads?
The
I
Waterboy.
guess the
For 1 point.
Okay. I
It
mean,
is correct. All right, here is your last question here. Last
I
question.
did guess the water boy.
What is the name
Same
of
thing you said.
Randy the Ram's finishing move, which is a diving headbutt in the film The Wrestler?
Let's do multiple choice.
Is it A, the Ram Jet, B, the Rammer, C, the Jammer, D, the Ram Jam?
I'm gonna guess the Ram Jam because it sounds.
D, the Ram Jam.
For 1 more point.
Okay,
So the
okay,
Barbarian
I got a
uses
point.
multiple choice.
I
Although
answered
it
the
doesn't go
question.
exactly the way he wants, but he still sees himself
I mean,
up
I kind of
5
was
points
about
here. It's
to guess the
11-6.
water before
Barbarian
he
with a
said
5-point lead over
Oh,
Alonso. All right, so we're going to drop
points,
out the
'cause I just
Barbarian
really
and bring
need
in
them
Kate
right
Mulligan.
Hi, Alonzo. You
Hi.
little sweet peanut. You're a real delight. You know that? I just want to eat you alive. Hey, do you know, I saw Mark Riley today, true story, and he said that he was listening to the Siskel and Ebert podcast. And then he said that they brought on an expert, and it was you.
No.
I love how much you know about movies. He's an expert, you know. So
You're literally making me blush. So.
I mean, as you should, as you should. Your well is deep, my friend. We're having fun here today. You're doing awesome. I just want to remind you about a couple of the gameplay things. Because steals are an option in this next one, if you really feel like you don't have any idea, make sure you check down to multiple. So then, you know, then he has less points to steal.
Sure.
I don't think you're going to need to, but, you know, and then also you have all 3 of your JTEs left, and you get one free repeat of the options if you do go to multiple. So we're going to keep this momentum going. I love Alonso.
I want to be in the den.
Right?
Who doesn't?
You are welcome to the den. You are welcome.
And looks like
The secret ingredient is cry.
Prime films.
We had such a laugh about this earlier.
60 seconds.
I wonder why.
Let's really narrow that down. You know.
Just that it's like, yeah, I mean, it's super broad. I feel like there's better stuff on this wheel for you. I also think what could happen is that we land on opponent's choice and you get grind. I mean, it's really your pleasure at this point.
I do have a function question here. If I land on opponent's choice, is wrestlers in film a category he could throw at me or no? Then let's do it. Then I want to spin again. I think.
That's what comes officially off the board.
That was a tough category too.
It was a tough category, and it's so wild that that the Barbarian stayed on it because it was definitely his wheel slice.
That is Tom Hanks. All right. So we now get to Alonso Duralde's wheel turn, and he got Tom Hanks.
Not Tom
Hanks,
It's from a Tom Hanks
That's
movie.
right, Alonso. 4 questions coming your way in the category of America's Uncle, Tom Hanks. There is a 5-point deficit right now, but 8 points up for grab. You could be in the lead after this series of 4. Your first question in the category of Tom Hanks. In what film does Tom Hanks play a failed American sales rep who travels to Saudi Arabia to sell to a wealthy monarch?
That would be The King's Hologram.
That is incorrect.
All right, so here's a repeat there. Repeat the question to the Barbarian.
Barbarian for a 2-point steal. In what film does Tom Hanks play a failed American sales rep who travels to Saudi Arabia to sell to a wealthy monarch?
A hologram for the king.
Oh.
Wow, a big 2-point
annoying
steal
when
there.
you
That's
miss
gonna bring
a
the score
question like
13 to
that.
6. 13 to 6, but still 6 points available here in round number 2 for Mr. Christmas. Your second question, Alonso. Category of Tom Hanks. In what film does Tom Hanks's character play the song Heart and Soul by jumping on a giant toy piano?
Big.
That would be Big.
Make sure he's got it correct, and he does. 2 points there. Big is absolutely correct, and we are halfway through your round of Tom Hanks. Your third question. What 2002 movie featured both Tom Hanks and Daniel Craig?
We could have hands up, Alonso, please.
Oh, right. Sorry. That is The Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition is correct for 2 more points. We are now at 10 to 13 with a chance to narrow it to 1 point. Your final question in the category of Tom Hanks, Mr. Christmas.
All right, here it is.
Tom Hanks plays the character Sam Baldwin in what 1990s film?
Multiple choice, please.
Checking down to multiple choice. Your options are A, Sleepless in Seattle, B, Philadelphia, C, You've Got Mail, or D, A League of Their Own.
A.
I'm going to say You've Got Mail.
A for Sleepless in Seattle, and that is correct. 13 to 11, Christian. Only 2 points here in going into round number 3.
Yeah, 4-point swing there with that steal, obviously, but it is now 13-11. 13-11. 2 points separates them. Tough match. It is anybody's game going into round number 3. Andrew, what are the rules of the third and final round?
Going into round number 3, our final matchup here in the first round of our singles tournament. Gentlemen, this is the big time. This is round number 3. Each player is going to pick 3 numbers that correspond to 3 categories all across the movie trivia universe. Those numbers will be between 1 and 20. Each competitor gets 3 questions. The questions are worth 2 points, then 3 points, and then ultimately 5 points. You still have 15 seconds to answer each question, and there are no stealing or multiple choice options in round number 3. The Barbarian, you are up. You sit on a nice 2-point lead. What numbers would you like?
How high may they go?
Up to 20.
Okay. We will take 13 for our current score. We will take 7. And we will take 8.
All right. Riveting choices. And now we get to Alonso Duralde.
I'll say 12, 2, and 20.
That was a great steal. Amazing job. You know exactly what needs to get done here. You're confident. You should be confident. You know you got this. How are you feeling?
The
How are you
Lego one,
doing?
which I wanted to get.
I'm feeling good.
Didn't.
Feeling good?
Just 3 questions.
Regular display, but I
3
love it.
questions.
We will be victorious if we can answer 3 questions. That's all that
Exactly. That's the perfect
Think
mindset.
about
You
me
got
too big for
this.
the Lego one.
You're gonna kill it. That's all you need. That's all you need. Stay calm. You got this.
I don't want you to be surprised when you win this thing because it is still in winnable territory. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that
it is.
right now. It's a 2-point difference. That this is everyone's game at this point. Okay, so
For sure.
I say, you still take your time. You have all 3 of your JTEs left. So if you feel like you need a pull, just keep them coming. There's no extra points for leaving the game with them. So you're looking good, my man.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate it.
Just in all ways. I mean, that we are too. All right, so let's just have fun. I'm telling you, this is still your game. So we'll see you on the flip.
Here we go. So, Alonso, you're going to go first here. You're going to try to avoid the TKO. And in order to do that, to tie the game, you just need to hit your 2-point question. You got category 12, Alonso. This is might be a familiar name. It's Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. Here you go. What Oscar-winning film marked the first collaboration of director Robert Zemeckis with Tom Hanks?
Oscar-winning film. Oh. So not Forrest Gump. Damn.
5, 4, 3.
Castaway?
Looking for Forrest Gump.
Forrest
Forrest
Gump
Gump.
won.
All right, so
I thought it was nominated.
now we stay with
but didn't
Alonso.
win.
And
But I
now
did
he's
say
got to hit
Forrest Gump,
his 3-point question. He's got to hit his 3-point
Here's the
question.
point,
And
honey.
now he gets to Oscars. Oscars was category 2, Alonso. And that 3-point question is the following. Which recent actor turned director became the first African American to win the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay?
Jordan Peele.
Yes, it is. 3 points. All right, so Alonso
Hey,
takes the
making a
lead
comeback
there.
in round
And now we
3.
bounce back to the Barbarian,
I'm 2
who's
for
got to hit
2
his
now.
2-point question here in order to bounce it back to Alonso yet again, Andrew.
That's right, Barbarian. You chose the number 13, and for your 2-point question, we're going to go to scores and soundtracks.
Well, I'm out.
Scores and
I'm
soundtracks for 2 points, and to take back that lead, Barbarian. The 2007 musical Across the Universe features songs originally performed by what band?
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
That is correct for 2
Nothing's
points
gonna
and the lead,
change
15
my
to 14.
world.
Okay, let's go back over to Mr. Christmas.
The
So now-
Beatles.
Alonso needs to hit his 5. If he does, then it bounces back to the Barbarian. However, if he misses, the Barbarian will go on to play Paul Yama in round number 2. Alonso, you chose category 20. That puts us in the decade, the 2010s. 2010s. 5-point question.
I am no chance getting
Here
this
is your question.
This 5-pointer.
In which film does Robert Downey Jr.'s character have a dream about his wife giving birth and a grizzly bear chewing through the umbilical cord?
What? Is it?
Can you repeat the question?
What?
In which film does Robert Downey Jr.'s character have a dream about his wife giving birth and grizzly bear chewing through the umbilical cord? Alonso's first repeat.
Okay, so it can't be Doolittle because that's 2020. Can't be Tropic Thunder.
All I can
because
come up with
that's
is
2008.
fur.
And your winner, ladies and gentlemen, the Barbarian! The answer was due date, and the Barbarian wins the match, and he makes it by a score of 15-14. He's going on, Andrew, to play Paul Oyama. What a clash that will be. It was a battle, man. I mean, look, Alonso kept fighting.
What was that
just hit that, and I think
man?
if you look, I think he overthought that 2-pointer with the Zemeckis, and he just probably, and I'm sure Steph will ask inside the post interview, did he which movie he put first there? You know, and it's like it was the Castaway. Which came first? Because you remember it was 94, the Forrest Gump was 94 as opposed to the other date, and it just got away from him. Nonetheless, the Barbarian stayed in there, had a rough round 2, but came back and wound up winning the match.
Yeah, that's a really great point that you made, Christian, was the 4 points in round number 2.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like it was taking a category that he really favored. He didn't think twice about it. It seemed like it was right in his wheelhouse, but sometimes it just doesn't go the way you think. But that 2-point steal that he got off of Mr. Christmas was so impressive and also heartbreaking for Mr. Christmas because he had all the words. They were just mixed up a little bit.
Well, he had the momentum going into that round too, because he got those other 3 questions in that round. If he hits 2, it's a different round 3, but he just missed that with the wording of it. And I think it's still Alonso. Maybe if he takes a repeat and he thinks about it a little bit inside that, maybe he gets to it. Maybe if he uses 2 more repeats inside of the 5-pointer, maybe he gets due date. I don't know. We'll find out with Steph if he would have gotten there, if he would have not gotten there. Either way, the Barbarian and the Exchange having a great round 1. Lieberman, Newman, and now the Barbarian all advancing to round number 2.
Yeah, Gucci might not be here, but the Finstock Exchange is still coming through here in the biggest tournament of the year.
All
right, so now we're going to talk to Steph Sabra, who's standing by with the Barbarian and Taylor Robinson. Steph, take it away.
Congratulations, Barbarian and Taylor. Barbarian, I have to say, if you have a significant other, I hope they get as much touch time as Elvis gets. But I want to talk about this big win that you just had in this tournament. We talked about how your record doesn't necessarily reflect how great of a competitor you are.
Yeah,
and today I feel like you really came in and showed out. How are you feeling?
Well, first, I'd just like to say that I'm a big fan of the work of my opponent. Christmas 1992, when I got a Super Nintendo, that was just fantastic. Chef's kiss. Elvis never got the pony he asked for, though, so he's less of a fan. But,
Why does Elvis need a pony?
It was a hard-fought match. We would refer to this as a bit of a scrap. We know that we need to, focus on what didn't go as strongly for us there and make sure that we put on a performance that can defeat Paul Oyama in the next round.
At the end of the day, though, now your record stands at 3-2. When we're talking about confidence, is this helping you moving forward to know that you can do this and hopefully win this tournament?
I mean, I've known that I can win this tournament. We've known that we can win this tournament. We've been planning to win this tournament since the day we heard of the Schmoedown. And this just is the first step in many steps, perhaps a whole 39 steps, as Alfred Hitchcock would say, on our way to winning the tournament and then winning the first of many titles that we will hold high over our heads at Spectacular.
Taylor, how do you feel about Barbarian's performance and managing him tonight?
Look, Barbarian came in and did exactly what we talked about. At the Exchange, we put in so much work to prepare for this. We knew this was not going to be an easy match by any means. We were going to have to show up at our best, and the Barbarian did that today. I feel very, very excited about what's to come in the rest of this tournament for the Exchange, because we're ready to go.
Now let's talk about what's to come, Barbarian. You have Oyama Primetime next. How are you feeling about that moving to round 2?
Paul Oyama is someone who we've witnessed in the past, and we've really felt has been very overrated. We saw the way that he had a very easy path to the title in his rookie year, unlike the very difficult path that Elvis and I had last year and earlier this year. And We are ready to show the world that he is a fluke.
Oh.
Wow. That is some big language coming from the Barbarian.
So many shots taken there.
Overrated. Well, I can't wait to see what happens in round 2. Congrats today again on the win. Andrew and Christian, back to you.
All right, Andrew. So obviously the Barbarian, very excited. Taylor Robinson gets her first win as a manager, and Gucci once again nowhere to be seen. I almost think it's better for the faction that he doesn't show up. When he doesn't show up, they start to win.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, the Finstock Exchange needs to just keep doing what they've been doing, which is just perform without Gucci. Some strong words there coming from the Barbarian. I mean, Oyama in that run, that title run, he took out Brendan Meyer, Liz Shannon Miller, and of course, Chance Ellison. So I don't know about an easy path to victory. Those are some of the greatest players that have ever played the game. But either way, he sounds incredibly confident going into round number 2. And I hate to say this, but it felt like confidence was maybe a little bit of what Alonso was missing today. Now, don't get me wrong, not in his personality, but in the way that he played. You touched on it a moment ago, maybe getting to answers a little bit too quickly, maybe checking down to multiple choice before he should. But at the end of the day, he may have just not known a few of those questions that really mattered. But I think he did know that very first question in round number 2.
This is why I think he's a scarier team player, to be honest with you. You saw what he did in the teams tournament with Matt Atchity, who is very similar in the fact of the mechanics of the game. That will not be the case when he's playing with Mark Riley, a 2-time champion. Mark Riley is going to bring out the scariest possibilities in Alonso Duralde. You're going to see. I have no mistakes about. To make no mistakes about this at all. When you see these two guys play together, that's going to be the start of a scary team. Mark Riley, who's been to, he's won tournaments. He's won the singles tournament. He's won the teams tournament.
Yep.
Him in Alonso's ear, telling him a little bit more on how to play those rules, use the multiple choice, use the, whether it's a challenge or whatever it might be. I think we're going to see a very different Alonso Duralde in the teams tournament.
Yeah, let's call it how it is. It's the first time that Alonso's been out in singles in a very, very long time. You got to give the guy a little bit of credit. Here's the other part of it is that I was never for a moment thinking that the Barbarian had this wrapped up and sent home. Until Alonso said the wrong answer for his 5-point question, it still was his game because I have that much respect for him and his knowledge. But now we just need to get him a little bit more comfortable in this very, very competitive setting.
Agree with you 100%, Drew. Great points. And now to hear from Alonso Duralde, Kate Mulligan. They're standing by with Steph Sabra. Steph?
Alonso, Kate, so good to be with you both. Alonso, I have to say, when Kate made you blush, I know for a fact we're a step closer to reaching world peace. That was the most warming moment. Alonso, I want to talk to you. I know you've been wanting a match. I know this must have not ended the way that you would have perhaps liked, but how does it feel to get the match in? Are you looking forward to the next one?
Yeah, always. I mean, I'm obviously not the person who's here, because either I climb to the top or nothing. Like, no, obviously I'm enjoying it, whatever steps that I wind up getting to take. If it's in singles, if it's in teams, this is it's a fun thing to do. I love to see you guys, and obviously I am not the greatest expert at like all the mechanics and all the strategies and the stuff that always gets brought up after I have one of these defeats, but nonetheless I'm enjoying myself.
I know Christian and Andrew were talking about that 5-point question, and in specific in round 3 when you got asked between Forrest Gump, and was that a matter of the date or did it just kind of slip your mind?
Forrest Gump flew out of my head and all I could think of was Castaway and the Polar Express, and I knew that Castaway came first.
Polar
and that's
Express
all
was
I had
like
working with me, and so when they said Forrest Gump, I was like, oh, duh, of course. Literally at one point, I think my mind went back to Bachelor Party just in case, but I knew that wasn't it either.
Okay, I want to talk to you. I know that you ride for Alonso. You were saying it during the match, and you've been wanting to have this match. How do you feel about now post match how he performed?
Listen, I gotta tell you, Alonso's my number 2 draft pick. Okay, so this is a guy that I wanted.
Wasn't he the number 3?
And there's nothing that he did today that makes me want him any less. Because I'll tell you what, I feel much better about Alonso playing the way he played and not going forward than I would if I was Craig's manager, who has no idea that this match even happened. And seeing the way Craig played today, knowing that he's going up against Oyama, That's not looking good. So I mean, that is going to be there's going to have to be a real, for lack of a better expression, come to Jesus over on that side of things today. But Alonso, to me, like you look at, like he said, the King's hologram instead of a hologram for the King. He knew what movie that was. Like,
Clearly.
His knowledge is there, and I don't think that there was I don't think he slipped.
Just not necessarily in the right order.
You know, I said to him at the beginning, go down to multiple if you need to. So like in his head, the movie's called The King's Hologram. Like you could take more time with it and probably still say the same name if you think that's what it is, you know? So to me, I don't feel like there was any slip ups here, but I do think that I am excited to get Alonso back out there with Riley, because I do think that that's the sort of thing, like when you can consult with somebody and then Riley can say like, oh my God, I forgot about the movie, but I think it's called, and that is sort of the leveling out. But I don't think he did anything in regards to gameplay today that wasn't totally fine. Truly.
Well, Alonso, let's talk about that. The guys at the desk mentioned the teams tournament coming up. Are you excited to be playing with Mark Riley?
Yeah, very much. I mean, I think, you know, as has been noted, I think we complement each other in a lot of ways. We both come to it knowing the things that we know, but he obviously really understands the lay of the Schmo land in a way that I have never fully, you know, gotten on board with. So I'm always grateful to have somebody who is, you know, alongside, who really kind of gets the intricacies and the nitty gritty that maybe I'm not as good at.
I'm excited to see you two compete. But now, Kate, Alonso was your last competitor in the tournament. Are you rooting for any team other than yours, or are you now just focused on the team's tournament?
Listen, one thing I do want to say to Alonso is, Alonso, even if you went forward in this tournament, the Den's still not going to be faction champions, okay? That had nothing to do with you, honey. So, okay, if you were going to lose any sleep over that, just know that we had made that bed well before you got into it. No, I mean, listen, at this point, I just want, you know, the teams, I want an underdog team. At this point, there's some part of me that's like, if there was a draft, there would be some merit in like shooting the moon at this point, just being like, let's be dead last so we get the best pick in the draft. But I'm not rooting for that, because I don't believe there is going to be a draft next year. So at this point, I just want some of the steam taken out of, or some of the wind taken out of the sails of the people.
However that expression goes.
However that, I want someone to take some steam out of the balloon in the sails. Is that right, Alonso? I want to pop the sails, and I want to pop the sails.
Well, I for one will be obviously rooting for the Barbarian to go all the way, so it looks not as bad that I lost to this gonk. You know?
Yes, that's true.
Definitely doesn't look bad, but I have to say, Mr. Christmas, I'm so glad I got to meet you. You're wonderful, Kate. You're obviously the best. Back to you two at the desk.
You know, Christian, one of the things I have to really point out about the Den is how much fun they're having. It's such an important thing, especially after a loss. It can really get to you. It can take the steam out of your balloon. But whatever the saying is that Kate just threw out there, this is really important when we talk about the team's tournament because of who his teammate is. Mark Riley is a guy that is so good. He does know the game back and forth, but every now and then his teammate does need to bring some of that levity, some of that fun. This isn't the end of the world. It might feel like it when you lose, but I think him and Alonso are going to complement each other so very well.
Do you know who they remind me of already as they're paired up? Because you really, if you look at them and you analyze the two of them, they remind me of Above the Line.
I knew you were gonna say Drew and Sam.
They remind me of Drew McQueenie and Sam Levine, because Sam Levine was he was at the time when they paired up, still he hadn't hit the title and all that, but he still was that type of strong competitor the way that knew the game the way Riley does. And McQueenie was the raw knowledge, just not necessarily knows the game very well, but knows movies.
Yeah,
that's what this team reminds me of. And if they can and vibe the way that those two guys did, they could do the same thing that they did and win a championship easily. So I'm very excited to see that team play, and I like him even more. I always loved Alonso Duralde. I love him more because he just called the Barbarian a gonk. I mean, come on, for God's sake.
Yeah, and the Barbarian has his work cut out for him. You know, Paul Ayama is obviously the next person in line, but then after that, if he does continue on, he's going to have to play against the winner of Collins versus Brendan Myers. So again, this part of the bracket, incredibly competitive.
Yeah, it's brutal at the moment. It is absolutely brutal. And the Barbarian, you know, as much and let's take nothing away from the Barbarian. He's he knows a lot about film, but I will say this, for as much smack as he's talking on Paul Oyama, who for the most part this year, free-for-all winner, has been playing lights out, getting very far in teams matches and everything he's been doing. Barbarian did not have the kind of round 2 to be able to talk the kind of smack he talked on the former champion.
True.
But it's going to be some kind of match between Primetime and the Barbarian. It's going to go down in round number 2, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I do think it's important to remain confident, even if you don't perform as well as you'd like, but I definitely agree. He's going to have to put up a lot more points in round number 2, but the steal that he did get is a very, very nice little cherry on top for a great performance today.
Finstock Exchange does it again. They pick up 3 points. They advance to the next round. The Den is done when it comes to the singles. They still are alive in a few of the other ones, and the teams coming up around the corner. If you want to check out all of the matches that are happening in the Schmoedown, you go to the schmoedownlive.com. It's also where you can get tickets. And don't forget to get your tickets for October 9th. We're going to be in New York. Get there. Get to the match October 9th. Come and see us. Going to be a big one, the schmoedownlive.com. For Andrew Guy and myself, appreciate it. Thank you to our great team. We'll see you next time.
Okay, it's nice when a player you're rooting for pulls out a victory. That's great to see. That's always a fun thing. That's always a fun time. As I mentioned, I have made no attempt to hiding my love for the Barbarian. I love Craig, the Barbarian. I also really love Alonso Duralde as a player, but you know, it's overthinking the answers sometimes. It's hologram for the King's hologram, overthinking that Castaway / Forrest Gump question. Even I overlooked the possibility that it could have been Forrest Gump. So, and I love Tom Hanks, he's my favorite actor, but like, you know, these things happen sometimes. And well, good luck to Craig, the Barbarian, in a match against Paul Oyama. I honestly don't know who to root for in that match, because I love them both almost equally, and I just, yeah, it's gonna be a barn burner, for sure. I got 6 questions correct in that match, which, aside from being my usual record for singles, it's kind of bad, because I got 0 questions right in round 1, maybe 1 or 2 in round 2, and like 3 questions in round 3. So, yeah, I don't know what that says about me, but it's a thing now. So I actually got more points in round 3 than any of the other rounds, but that's beside the point. Anyways, I really enjoyed reacting to this match. I always a pleasure seeing the Barbarian and Kate and all that. And yeah, I have to go now. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you some other time. Goodbye. Hello again, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed this video, because I really enjoyed making it. So, if you like what you've seen here, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content like this. So, until next time, guys, I'll see you guys next time.